Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're diving into a really fascinating book, Jim Murphy's Inner Excellence. And this one, it's not just about, tweaking your performance here and there. It feels much bigger. It's about really transforming how you think, how you handle pressure, basically how you experience life. Murphy's coached some serious performers, PGA golfers, top executives, and his core message seems to be this. The quality of your performance in life is determined not by circumstances, but by the state of your inner world. Think about it, right? You see two people, same skills, same situation. One just nails it, the other kind of falls apart. Murphy says the difference maker. It's not just the talent. It's that inner stuff, mental clarity, emotional stability, especially when things get intense.
Yeah, it really flips the script, doesn't it? Most of us, our instinct is to fix the outside. Bitter strategies, grind harder, push against the circumstances. But Murphy's whole point, and what we really want to dig into today, is that the real game changers, the biggest battles, are happening inside us. The fear of messing up, getting obsessed with the result, that little voice of the ego needing validation all the time, or just getting frozen by overthinking everything. So our mission here is to pull out those key insights for you, not just explaining what inner excellence is, but maybe more importantly, how you can actually start building it yourself.
That's such a powerful shift in focus, isn't it? Looking inward instead of just wrestling with the external world.
Yeah.
He's saying mastering your thoughts, your emotions, getting that clarity. It's not just some nice to have, it's fundamental.
Exactly. And a good way to think about it, perhaps, is like your computer's operating system. You can have the best hardware, the fastest processor, but if the OS is buggy or cluttered, nothing runs smoothly. It's the same for us. Peak performance happens when our inner OS, our mindset, our emotional regulation, that sense of clarity, is all aligned and working well. It's recognizing that this internal state isn't just a result of good performance, it's actually what drives it.
Okay, so if that's the big idea, winning from within, what are some of the key principles he breaks down? One that jumped out at me was this concept of clarity over control. Because let's be honest, most of us spend a lot of energy trying to control things, control the
Yeah.
deal, control the outcome, control what people think.
Oh, absolutely. We're control freaks by nature, aren't we?
Yeah. But Murphy says trying to control the uncontrollable is, well, it just makes us anxious and worn out.
That's precisely it. He argues it's a losing game, just leads to stress. So instead of wrestling with outcomes you can't actually dictate, he points us towards cultivating clarity.
Clarity. Okay, what does that mean practically?
It means knowing your purpose in that specific moment, staying fully present, really there, and crucially, trusting the work you've already done, your preparation. He talks about playing freely, acting from that clear vision, rather than being tight and driven by fear. Think about a tennis player serving. If they're obsessing, don't double fault, got to win this point, their body tenses up, the serve suffers, guaranteed. But if they just focus on the toss, the feel of the ball, their breathing, the motion, the things they can control, right, then that clarity pushes out the tension. And guess what? The serve gets better.
That makes sense. And that urge to control, that need for the win, often that's tied into the ego, isn't it? Which is another thing Murphy tackles head on.
Yes, the ego. And he's not just talking about being arrogant or cocky. He focuses more on that inner voice, the one that's constantly judging our worth based on external stuff.
Like achievements or what others think.
Exactly. Or comparing ourselves constantly. It's the part of us that links our self-worth directly to how we perform. The ego craves recognition. It wants power. It needs approval. It's always trying to prove something. But the danger, Murphy warns, is that this traps you. You're always comparing, always afraid of falling short. Competing from ego means you're playing to impress, not to actually express your skill or your passion. And that's just, well, it's fragile. Not very fulfilling in the long run.
So it's not about trying to eliminate the ego entirely, because that sounds impossible.
Right, impossible and probably not even desirable. It's more about shifting your orientation, moving from that constant, how do I look, am I winning mindset, to something more like, how can I contribute here? How can I learn? How can I best express myself right now?
Yeah.
He's not knocking ambition, by the way. He acknowledges ego can be that initial spark. But the deeper insight, the inner excellence part, is using that drive as fuel for growth and service, not letting the ego's need for validation call all the shots.
Okay, I get that distinction.
Think of a CEO. One driven purely by ego might chase flashy, headline-grabbing projects, maybe burns out the team for personal glory. Contrast that with a leader acting from clarity, from a sense of purpose or service. They build something lasting, inspire people. Both might achieve results on paper, but the inner experience, the impact, totally different worlds.
Yeah, you can feel that difference. And this leads nicely into another big theme, living in the present. We hear athletes talk about being in the zone. Murphy basically says, yeah, that's just being totally present. He argues our minds tend to hang out in two places that aren't helpful: regret about the past or anxiety about the future.
And you can't perform your best if you're mentally time traveling, right? Inner excellence is really about, as he puts it, coming home to the now.
Mm.
That basketball player at the free throw line, if their head is full of, oh no, what if I miss? Or, man, I blew that last shot.
They're not focused on the actual shot.
Exactly. They're not feeling the ball, seeing the rim, trusting their form. They're lost in the past or future. And the performance dips. Presence is powerful because fear and regret need a story, a narrative outside this immediate second to survive. This is why things like mindfulness, simple breath work, they're so effective. They're practical tools to just pull yourself back to right here, right now.
Where the clarity is.
Precisely.
Yeah.
That's where clarity lives.
Okay, so if we're trying to stay present, but fear inevitably creeps in, because it does.
Yeah.
How does Murphy suggest we handle that? He's pretty blunt that trying to just squash fear or eliminate it entirely is a fool's errand. It's human.
Totally. Fighting fear just gives it more power, usually.
Yeah.
Murphy's approach is much smarter, I think.
Yeah.
It's about reframing it. Seeing fear not as this enemy to be defeated, but more like a signal.
A signal for what?
A signal for growth. Instead of that gut reaction, oh God, what if I fail? He coaches you to ask a different question. Okay, what if I grow from this? What's the opportunity here?
Mm-hmm.
That little shift changes everything. Fear becomes an indicator that you're pushing boundaries, stepping into something new, which is where learning happens.
So it's like leaning into it almost.
Might have. Take public speaking nerves, that racing heart, sweaty palms feeling. Most people think, this is bad, I'm scared.
Mm-hmm.
The inner excellence reframe is, okay, this isn't fear, this is energy. My body's getting ready. It's making me alert, alive for this.
Yeah.
You hear elite athletes say this all the time, right? They need the nerves. They've learned to channel that energy into focus, not let it derail them.
Turning fear into fuel instead of fighting it. I like that. And pulling this all together, there's a really profound idea he emphasizes: character over outcome. It echoes a lot of wisdom traditions, really, that you can't always control the final result, the win or loss. But you always control who you are, how you show up, what you become through the process. He says the real scorecard isn't the trophy shelf, it's your character.
It's such a fundamental shift in how we define success, isn't it? We're so wired for external validation, the medals, the money, the title. But Murphy pushes us toward valuing the inner qualities we build along the way: courage, humility, patience, resilience. Imagine, say, an entrepreneur. They launch 3 companies. All 3, by standard metrics, fail.
Society might label that person a failure.
Right. But if, through all that struggle, they developed incredible resilience, learned deep lessons about leadership, gained wisdom, then according to Murphy's scorecard, they've actually achieved something incredibly valuable, something lasting. It's moving from just a performance mindset, all about the result, to a growth mindset, where the journey, the becoming, is just as important.
That's a huge shift. Okay, so people listening are probably thinking, this sounds great, inspiring, but how do I actually do it? Does Murphy offer practical steps? You mentioned he calls them mental gym workouts.
He absolutely does. And this is where the book gets really practical and useful day to day.
Yeah.
He lays out several core practices. First, daily reflection journals. Simple idea. Each day, jot down maybe 3 fears you noticed, 3 wins, however small, and 3 lessons learned. It sounds basic, but doing it consistently starts rewiring your brain to look for growth, not just flaws.
Okay, what else?
Visualization. But not just picturing yourself holding the trophy. It's more about visualizing yourself being calm, clear, focused, feeling excellent during those high-pressure moments. You're rehearsing the inner state. Then there's breathing and meditation. Super critical. Specifically, diaphragmatic breathing, deep belly breaths, to consciously calm your nervous system before a stressful situation.
Right, the physical connection.
Exactly. Also, reframing. Actively catching those negative thought patterns like, I have to succeed at this, and consciously changing them to something like, I have an opportunity to grow here.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, a self-talk audit. Just becoming really aware of that voice in your head. What's it saying? And then replacing the I can't or I'm not good enough with I choose to practice this or I'm learning.
Could you maybe walk us through a quick example? Like, how would someone use these tools in a real crunch moment?
Sure. Let's take that golfer facing the crucial putt again. Instead of getting swamped by don't miss, first they'd take maybe 2 or 3 slow, deep breaths, really anchor themselves physically. Then maybe a quick visualization, not just the ball dropping, but visualizing themselves feeling centered, calm, executing the stroke smoothly, trusting their preparation, and their inner self-talk shifts. Instead of pressure, it's maybe, okay, 1 shot, Be present, let it flow. They're actively reframing fear into focused energy. It's like a pre-performance routine for the mind and emotions, setting the stage for their best effort.
That paints a really clear picture. And obviously, this isn't just for pro golfers. So, how does this translate for, the rest of us? Entrepreneurs, parents, students, anyone facing daily challenges.
Oh, the applications are incredibly broad. That's what makes it so powerful. For athletes, sure, it helps them play free, less tight. We see careers turned around by this mental shift. For business leaders, it's about leading with less ego, fostering real trust and innovation, handling crises with composure instead of panic. Huge impact on team culture. And for everyday people, these tools can genuinely help manage things like social anxiety, improve communication and relationships by being more present, and just lead to a life with honestly more peace and less constant internal struggle. Murphy tells this great case study about a pro golfer really stuck in a deep slump. Technically, his swing was fine. The problem was purely mental. He was terrified of losing sponsors, letting people down, just paralyzed by focusing on potential negative outcomes.
Been there. Maybe not with sponsors, but yeah.
Right. So Murphy worked with him specifically on letting go of that outcome obsession, refocusing on clarity, presence, the process, even just remembering why he loved golf in the first place. And yeah, his performance bounced back dramatically. But the bigger win, Murphy notes, was that his actual joy in playing, which had totally vanished, came roaring back. It just perfectly illustrates that inner excellence isn't only about result, it's about the quality of your experience while you're pursuing them.
Wow, that's a great story. It really shows the impact. So, the book itself, Inner Excellence,
Yeah.
what's it like to read? You mentioned Murphy has a coach's voice.
Yeah, it reads less like a dense academic text and more like you're getting advice from a really wise, encouraging mentor. It's clear, practical, very supportive in tone. Its big strengths, I think, are that unique blend of solid sports psychology with deeper, almost spiritual wisdom about presence and ego. Plus, the lessons feel genuinely universal. You can see how they apply whether you're an athlete, an artist, a business person, whatever. And critically, it gives you those actionable tools we talked about, things you can actually do tomorrow. It aims for transformation, really, moving beyond just how to succeed to how to build character and find peace in the process.
Sounds incredibly valuable. Are there any downsides or things potential readers should know?
Well, for a balanced perspective, maybe a couple of things. If you're looking for a super quick five-step formula, this might feel a bit more reflective, more philosophical than that. Also, if you're already deep into mindfulness or maybe Stoic philosophy, some concepts like be present or detach from ego will certainly sound familiar.
Right, they're not brand new ideas in themselves.
Exactly. Murphy's real genius, I think, is weaving them together into a coherent, practical framework, specifically for applying these ideas under pressure. That's the key. And maybe most importantly, he stresses, and it's true, there are no magic bullets here. It requires consistent practice. It's a journey, not flipping a switch.
That's a fair point. Constant practice. Makes sense. Okay, so as we wrap this deep dive up, what's the big takeaway for you, our listener? Ultimately, I think inner excellence is about finding a certain kind of freedom. Freedom from constantly battling fear, freedom from being driven solely by ego, freedom from that exhausting chase for external validation. It teaches that peak performance and maybe even a better life comes not from gripping tighter, but from learning how to let go in the right way. Well said. And maybe that leaves us with a final question for you to chew on this week. If inner excellence is about winning that ultimate competition, the one inside yourself, what's one inner battle you're facing right now that you could choose to reframe? Not necessarily to conquer it immediately, but just to start understanding it differently, maybe see the potential for growth within it.
A powerful question to consider. Definitely food for thought. For more insights and deep dives like this one, please do like, share, and subscribe. It helps others find the show. We'll see you next time.